You are live.
We live? Everybody, how we all? Like, let's just keep this professional as always.
As professional as you.
Hi guys, how are we getting on? We're back for another instalment of Car Crash TV. What are you doing, Jen?
I'm just checking that I am on Facebook, right? Yeah, I am, I think.
Well, it's a bit
are you on
late,
Facebook?
No. He's not, he's on Insta.
You're on Insta. Why is Shaggy joining on Insta?
Shaggy joining.
Shaggy usually
Hello, Shaggy.
Shaggy, you usually join on Facebook.
Jen's getting upset now because she's not looking at Shaggy's comments.
Tell Andy to sign on to Facebook, so. I couldn't find the feed on Facebook, so I had to go to Instagram. That's because we were a bit slow. That's
anyway.
What? I don't know. Hold on. I'm just trying to see who's on.
It's okay.
No, they've changed the format on Facebook,
okay,
and it's annoying me.
We have one, mate.
Okay, sorry. Go on. Go ahead.
Okay. We start so again, yeah? How are we going, guys? Thanks for joining us, and as I said, on Car Crash TV. This is I suppose, the last update that I will be doing before I break down the Harley. So I'm going to give you a quick update on the Harley. I'll give you an update on Jen's trike and what's going to happen with that now. I will give you another few other bits and pieces. There's a mention on the sidecar Goose wing, a mention on what I'm doing for the CVs here, and a few other bits and bobbies. So
What? I just realised the CV's here.
Yeah, but you do realise that every time you lean forward, the camera flies over and back with you. So
no, not so much.
People will be getting seasick on the other end of the phone. Anyway, so guys, welcome. Thanks very much for joining me. So the first thing I want to talk about is this. I've had a lot of interest from people. What the name of Christ?
Nothing. Would you just ignore me?
Stop. Sorry, guys. The two guys behind the cameras here are sort of doing all sorts of.
Mick, you're a professional. Keep it up.
Professional what? Though? That's the question. Anyway, getting back to the bike, right? The bike, people.
Yeah,
the bike.
Right.
Let's focus on this. Right. I have done pretty much as I can to this. I have a couple of small jobs that I do want to do, and it's more sort of jobs out of fussiness than anything else. Everything here is pretty much done. I haven't put the pipe work in there, obviously, because the whole thing is coming apart again. I cut the pipes to suit this because I'm going to have to. These were only made for the purpose of work of finding out if it would actually work. I'm actually going to make new pipes for these when the bike is being assembled. These will be made properly brand new again, and I'll cut them in to suit the tank then. So that's all sorted. I've done the footrest assembly and this cover. Now, some guys have turned around and said that I've taken away from the structural integrity of the cover. I actually haven't. There's actually bracing behind. There was nothing other than sort of how would I describe it? Empty space in terms of the cover here. There was no structural integrity whatsoever in this part of the cover. The structural integrity of the cover is all the way up along here, which is why I left that piece there. Plus, across the bottom, there's a big chunk of aluminium in behind here, and all along the bottom. If you look down, you can actually see it there. There's a big slab of aluminium there. So all the structural integrity is actually still there. So there's no issues there. If the belt breaks. These things happen. There's nothing I can do about that. But just gets put a new belt on it. So and the reason I left the belt there is because I didn't want the chain. Because chains are messy and they're dirty, and the belt is nice and clean. So I have no oil, no grease, and nothing when this is finished on the nice painted wheels. Exhaust, I kept the original Super Trap because my welding is shite at best. There's no way. I don't even know what I was thinking of when I decided I was going to make an exhaust for this, because I'm going to need a lot more welding before I even come close to even thinking about that. So I decided to use the original Super Trap dome pipes that were on it because they're brand new. And I got this off of a buddy of mine, Damien. I just literally cut it down, put an angle on it just to get it away from the belt, and that's a slip-on. And it'll be going on here by 2 springs. So that actually looks really cool. I'm well happy with that. And I'm expecting it to be very loud, which is just how I like them. oil tank is finished, thanks to Brendan, buddy
Brendan's on.
mine.
He is watching.
Made a really nice job on the tank. So that's all completely finished. I haven't checked it for leaks yet, but I don't know for a minute that there'll be no leaks on it. I've done the air breather. That breather is going straight down to the engine from the crankcase up. So by all accounts, that slightly pressurizes the tank and helps push the oil back down to the engine. That was actually an afterthought because I actually completely missed the fact that there was an air breather on the first tank. So, but anyway, it works out really well there. So I'm happy over that. So that's that finished. The only real jobs left to do to this now is I need to finish. I've got the electric tray here. I want to finish the electrical tray because I have two, as well as this is being fitted here. I have two relays, one for the air suspension and one for the, I think it's the lights or something else, some other part of the bike. There's actually another relay just hanging around there somewhere. There it is, there, look. Hang on. That guy, he's got to be mounted in there as part of the Harley's own electrics. And like I said, the relay off of the air suspension has got to go in there, just to tidy it away, make everything nice and tidy. So they've got to go in there. So what's left to do now is the bike is going to be broken down. Now there's a guy, buddy of mine, Noel Connolly from Flame Art Design. You can follow him on Instagram. Noel does really nice etched brass. Noel's going to make me up a load of brass pieces for here, the pushrod covers, and various other places around the bike. They're going to be sort of accent pieces. You won't see them until pretty much the bike is being put back together, because everything will be done first. The engine's coming out being painted black. All this lot here, everything here, all the silver, is other than the only part of the bike silver that will be remaining would be this small little piece here, because obviously I can't do a whole pile with them. So everything else is going to be painted more than likely black. All the chrome will be black, the frame will be black, but there'll be a lot of other detail put into them as well as that. But for the majority of it, it'll be black. I'm doing a full, well, I'm not. Jack Conlon is doing a full custom Celtic paint job on the mudguards, tank, side panels, rear mudguard, a few other bits and pieces, belly pan. It's a complete Celtic themed paint job. The red and grey will be the predominant colours, but there's going to be gold leaf on it as well. And I'm actually sort of going to town on this because to make it look right, it can't be a simple paint job. It has to be special, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Other than that, the wheels, he's going black, but I'm doing these holes and the track in between them are going to be brass coloured. And then both wheels will be done. I'm also going to put some detail into the rear pulley to make the whole team sort of flow together. The wiring here, all that will be gone. I'm going to try, see, the reason that hasn't been test fitted first is because these have all got these Harley plugs on. There's a special tool needed to take these apart. And because I want all the wiring, if possible, to go down through the handlebars. Keep that. So literally, I'm hoping at the end of all this, the only thing that will be actually coming out of here will be the brake pipe and the two throttle cables. They'll be the only thing coming down visible. And they said all the wiring will be invisible. That's my hope. So that's
a couple of shout outs. We've got Michelle Ward saying hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Sarah says hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Shaggy found you on Facebook as well, and he says
Jesus.
Multiple gooses, or is it geese? He's also copped that on Instagram we have it on widescreen, and on Facebook it's on portrait.
Yes, that was a discussion. That was actually a discussion we had a while ago, because it's much easier for Jen to read the comments on portrait than it is on landscape. I don't personally. I'll have a look at it later on, and I'll see which one of them works better, which one of them actually looks better.
So it's a bit of an experiment.
But I look ugly in both of them, so it's fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just think of it as you can see less of me.
So, I don't know. Do you look slimmer in portrait or on? Yeah, the landscape makes you look wider. That's all.
Hold on 1 second, because So a few other things, because I've actually left notes around the place just to sort of so bear with me now a second. So I have a prompt sheet because I said I don't do too much waffling as you know, so I said I'm going to keep my waffling sort of in sort of some form of control. when this is being stripped down, I've never stripped a Harley before. To be honest, it's not brain surgery, but because of the fact that I haven't stripped a Harley before, I'm guaranteed to find stuff that I haven't found on Japanese bikes. They've got, like, aside from all the fucking stupid fractions, like 1/2 inch and 3/8 and 5/16 nuts and spanners and all that, which is a major pain in the ass. But other than that, it shouldn't be too bad. But I've got to do, there's a nice bit of welding to be done, because these brackets that I put on for the mudguard previously, they've only been welded on the outside. I have to take the mudguard off and strip up the back wheel and stuff to do the inside of it, so they'll all be done when the bike is dismantled. Anywhere you see yellow tape on the frame, this is where the rear foot pegs are mounted. It's one that I still can't figure out what possessed them, because as the swinging arm moves up and down, your legs are moving up and down with it. It's I don't know why, but I find it very amusing. But anyway, that's got to be cut back and welded, because there's a brass piece in there.
I think you'd have more concern about the opening on the top of the oil tank if you were sitting a pillion up there.
I would
be honest.
Nice
with that.
With
that jiggling up and down as well.
So, guys, that's the scenario with the Harley. I'm actually very happy with the way the Harley has gone. I've done you haven't seen them. I've done the rear, or the rear side. I've done the levers, because I don't know if you remember it or not, but we were watching a video. We had done a video there about 4 weeks ago. One of the levers snapped off. The end completely snapped off of it. So I've done that. I've also put on this side, which hasn't been seen yet, I've put some detail into the footrest and the gear lever, because again, I don't want to change them, because these things produce. I have a set of fancy footrests for this, but the reason I didn't change them is because there's no form of rubber whatsoever on them. And if I know anything about Harleys, they produce a lot of vibration. So you'll have vibration travelling up through your legs constantly while you're riding them. So that's why there's.
Yeah, Shaggy was saying, do the pegs run through the engine casings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially the one on the far side. Oh yeah, there's a lot of vibration on these things. Yeah. So the one thing I was told when you're reassembling the Harley is get yourself a big bottle of tread lock, because absolutely everything will fall off of these things if you don't tread lock it. So that's where I stand with this. I haven't Brendan welded up this for me the last day he was here, because I wouldn't trust myself to weld that properly without it leaking, or weld it properly full stop. So he welded that for me as well when he was here. He done a couple of other bits of welding for me as well. He done the head on the Kawasaki, repaired that for me. So in fairness, cheers Brendan, you done a really good job for me. So that's where I stand with the Harley. It's all but ready. I've about an evening's worth of work to do on it, which I'm going to do before I strip it down. I just want to get that tray sorted out. So the next time, middle of next week or whatever, that bike, I'll be starting to take it apart. So that's the shock out of the way. Next, any questions off of anybody or any comments before I move on to my next subject? No?
Not yet.
Okay.
Apparently, Facebook is about 10 seconds behind Insta as well.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Right. Weird.
Facebook is being weird. Oh, hold on. Shaggy says he saw one once, a slow off on a new Sporty 48. Walking pace fecked the casing. Can these be strengthened or caged?
Sorry, say it again.
Walking pace fecked the casing. I don't know, from the vibrations maybe?
Oh, yes, yes.
Can these be strengthened or caged?
No idea.
No idea.
No, haven't clue that. I honestly don't know. All I know with these things is I was warned that when you put them back together, tread lock everything.
Yeah, my mum says they've been notorious for leaving a trail of bits on the road behind them for decades.
Yeah, absolutely. And the new and this one I think is the last. I know I could be corrected on this, but as far as I know, this is the last model of non-rubber mounted Harleys or Sportsters. I think they came in rubber mounted, but this one is just the engine is bolted straight to the frame, and all the ancillaries have big rubber bushes on them. So that gives you an idea of the vibration, and a big chunky. Like this is how thick the bloody seat is. The seat is so you get no vibration up through your ass. What I didn't mention was I told you that the paint is going to Ger Conlon, because Ger's an outstanding painter. He's really good. The forks and the exhausts, to my mind, are going for Cerakoting. The reason I'm fine with the idea, this might change. I'm not 100% sure yet. The forks, the reason I'm talking about that is because of the tolerances sliding up through the actual yolks. There's very, very little movement in them because they're made for chrome. I'm reckoning the powder coating or paint would be too thick, so I'm not going to be able to get them back, be able to slide them back up, because this isn't actually part of the fork. This is actually a sleeve that goes down over the fork, and I have another sleeve here that goes up. So there's about 5 or 6 different pieces actually in each fork leg, and they'll all have to be done separately. And the problem that what I'm worried about is they wouldn't go back together with the thickness of paint or thickness of powder on them, whereas the Cerakoting is microns thick, so they go back on no bother. The other job is the exhausts. Cerakoting will take a serious amount of heat. There'll be no issue with exhaust with Cerakote, so I don't want the exhaust silver. Painting them isn't an option. I'm sure as hell not putting wrap on them. So Cerakoting is the real only option for them. So they're going to be done that way. So we get that sorted. My buddy, Badass Creation, is getting my seat. Wouldn't dream of giving it to anybody else. He's going to do me a leather seat, but I'm going to get him to dye it. It'll either be dyed black or it'll be dyed something with something
Purple.
in with the yes, Jen. Purple. I get to dye it in sort of in tune with the paintwork on the bike.
So not purple.
Not purple.
Okay.
Not unless there's something big and purple coming up in the middle of the tank. So which isn't going to happen. So guys, that's the Harley out of the way. I think we've pretty much covered everything we need to cover on the Harley. So give me 2 seconds. I'll just push this thing a small bit out of the way. Guys, hospital beds, people. We just shove them out of the way. Right. Next on the chopping block is
My baby.
this yoke. I stress the word yoke.
Andy agrees with me. It should be purple.
Jen, paint your bike purple. Looks like purple, really.
Yeah. Now talk about Jen's beleaguered trike. Yes.
Yes.
Shaggy.
I'll have this up on. This will be front and centre next weekend. Hopefully next weekend or within the day or two of that. There are several sort of major issues with this. The biggest thing I don't like about this trike from day one, I'm not happy about the mud guards. There's nothing wrong. They all work. It's just that I'm looking for something sort of a bit more swoopy and not so much swoopy, but wrap around. So what I'm going to do is I got these 2 ugly ass mud guards, and they are ugly.
They're not that ugly.
Fucking hideous. That's what they are.
So you saw hideous, ugly mud guards and thought, I know what they'll look good on. Jen's trike.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to cut them down the middle. That gets rid of.
And then you
these.
get 4 ugly mud guards.
Would you shut
All right,
up?
I'm shutting
Would
up.
you shut up? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it down the middle. I'm going to put the 2 of them together. What that will give me is that curve then on both sides, and I'm going to split them in 2. So what I get then is I get 2 completely curved back mud guards for your trike. There's a lot of work in them, but if they trust me, they look nice. So that's that. I haven't figured out anything for the front yet, but I think I have in actual fact, 1 second now. I go into my cupboard of because I spotted. See what I found. And I'm thinking.
Magically have a mud guard.
There you go. There's your front mud guard.
Excellent. I don't like the brackets, so you'll have to do something about that.
See? They'll drill out. So we have. So that's mud guard sorted. And the other thing I want to do is I need again. It's the same as with the Harley. There's just clutter. A lot of clutter. Which, if you got rid of all of that, it would make the handlebars look so much nicer. So we're going to get new handlebars made up, because I've always thought that these were about 1 inch or 2 too low. So get them up to about here. Slightly bigger diameter on the bars. That way I can drill them and I can run the cables down through the bars and bring them out down here and carry on down. Now, all this, I'm looking to put a tank here, or no. I haven't worked out yet whether it's going to be an actual full-size petrol tank or a petrol tank cut down to become a false tank and put electrics underneath it. I haven't decided yet. It depends. When I have it all stripped out and the clock's out and a few other bits, the handlebars are gone, then I can work what room I have, and I can see what will fit up there. But there'll be a tank of some form up there, because I don't like the openness of it. I'd like something sort of with a bit of shape to it.
Yeah.
Next, the floorboards are going. I have to keep the foot pedals the same, but the floorboards are going. We'll come up with some other plan for that. And I want to redo the brakes, because there's too much of an angle in here. You have an angle coming off the brake into here, and the master cylinder then is coming straight. So there's a lot of grinding in there, of movement in there. I'm not happy with that, so I'll rechange all that. Back mudguard here. Underneath here is the fuel tank. But the fuel tank's very small. It's only a moped fuel tank, and I'm hoping to get rid of that. Hopefully to put the tank up there. So that will give me much more space here, because Jen wants to remodel the back end. But the way the back end is designed at the moment, it's designed to hide the fuel tank. Now all the suspension layout on this is actually really, really good, and it works very well. Proper full wishbone. When I built it the last time, I drilled all the ends of the wishbones and put grease nipples on them all, so they're all actually really, really properly well done. Front end, I'd like to change it, but I'm not going to, not this time around anyway. But what I will do is this top slab, we'll get some shape put into it. Take the right angle off of it and get it rounded off, or get a new one made up, one or the other. I'm not too sure yet, but it won't be left in that current configuration, so to speak. We'll get a new LED headlamp for the front of it.
Shaggy said turbo it for me. I don't need to turbo it. It weighs next to nothing.
No,
I'd be wrapped around a tree in no time.
As a little 500, it's going to be quite quick, because even as a trike, it's going to be lighter than the original bike. There's no weight in this thing.
He reckons a Bandit Mark 1 tank might be a good donor tank for it.
It might be, actually.
Good line for it.
It might be.
Now, he says the big guards will need big wheels. Now, the issue we have with the wheels is the actual, like, thread and stuff.
No, we managed.
When we
No,
we
can't get wheels.
We can't. The wheels were so hard to get because of the axle that's on it. It's got a really weird
them wheels are
wheel knot pattern.
The wheels are off a Hillman Imp. Not a Hillman Imp, sorry. Triumph Vitesse.
A Vitesse, that's it.
The whole back axle's off a Triumph Vitesse, and the Triumph Vitesse has got its very, very own PCB. That no other wheel fits. I've tried a multitude of different wheel options here.
Yeah, but it's got like
to go with the mini lights, because they make them specifically for the Heralds and the Vitesses of that era. So the other jobbies that need doing on this is having a full digital conversion. All the ignition is going digital on it. There's a crowd in the States to do a digital conversion on these things, because the CX's ignitions are a pain in the arse. They're also at the back of the engine, so once the engine's installed, they're next to impossible to get to. So I'm going to pull all the ignition system out of this while it's on the bench and put a digital ignition system into it. And while I do that as well, Jen was telling me that she has problems with the clutch being stiff. It's a manual clutch, so I'm doing a hydraulic clutch conversion on it. There's a gizmo you can get which will give you hydraulic clutch up here, but you have it converted down. The clutch is in here, and just before the clutch cover, it converts from hydraulic into cable. So that should make changing gears a hell of a lot easier. There's not a whole pile of issues other than that. The carburetors are. I've got a buddy of mine who's going to completely rebuild the carburetors. The issue with the carburetors on this is there's not enough room between the carb and the electrical box to give me a decent filter. So that box is going. I'm hoping that if I can get the tank up here, I can then put all the electrics quite comfortably down on the small saddle here. So that's my plan. That means that whole central area would be fairly empty to do whatever the hell I want with it. I can get a gel battery. I can pack the battery flat under the seat. So that should give me loads and loads of room, scope to do basically whatever the hell I want to do. No, folks, I think we're nearly there with this. There's not a massive amount of work to do on this, sort of in comparison to the Harley or whatever, because I know the engine is good. I've had the engine running. It just needs electronic ignition to fire both cylinders. I can fire each cylinder independently, but I can't get the two of them together. So, so I know the engine is good. It's most of the stuff in this bike is cosmetics, handlebars, just redoing the electrics and redoing the tank. But the actual structure of the bike is pretty much staying as it is. Hoping to get this one out before the summer, so Jen can get some road time on it over the summer. I think, as far as I know, where we're at. I think that's where we're at with this. I've been promising for months and months to get to this, but just like anything else, guys, you know, the way, like I'm sure you all know the way life is at the moment. Like aside from this, I have work. This is a hobby. I have work. I have family. I have life in general. So I put as much time as I can into this. But you know, as I'm sure with everyone of you, everybody has life to live and stuff to do. This yoke is here. She's actually here the last video as well. This will give you an idea how much time I don't have in here. I want the problem I had with this was, I'll be sticking it up there in the video in a couple of days to re-explain it again. Brake calipers and paint. When you paint your calipers and you and they look nice and you give them a shot of spray can paint, it's fine at the time. But down the road, when you take the calipers off and you want to rebuild them or you want to put new pads in them or whatever you need to do with them, if there's any brake fluid gets onto them, it destroys the paint, they get all sticky, they get messy. The next thing you know, you've calipers that look like shit and you've got paint all over your hands. So I'm sending them off for Cerakoting. Cerakoting is not affected by brake fluid. They're basically the same as if they came out of the factory. They're going to completely, by the time I come back then, Pat Noonan, Motorcycle Parts Owner, my buddy, he's going to supply me with new set of brake pads and brake seals. So effectively what I'll have, this is actually the only job left to do on this thing, is brand new front brakes, and this thing I'll be driving around the roads in this for the summer. Now, obviously I'm not going to be driving around the roads on a wet day, in fairness, I'm not that stupid. But what the other plan I'm thinking about with this is, because of the fact that there's nothing all the way through here, all the way to the filters, I'm trying to really of making a small hugger that actually fits onto the middle brace here, just to go up about here on the back wheel, to take the road dirt, road shit, out of my way, so it doesn't completely destroy the whole bike up the middle. But for that I need to, what the idea was, make a mudguard go up here, but take a photograph of the tread of the tyre and paint the mudguard in the same pattern as the tread of the tyre, so it actually looks like a tyre from in paint. So that could actually look quite cool. That way it's not immediately noticeable of there being a mudguard there. So that's a small minor problem. Another minor job to do. So guys, that's the three of these in here, and that's why they're in here.
Dan Duggan and Perry have joined.
Hi guys, how are you getting on?
Perry's late to the party.
That's not bad. I was on to Perry this morning. I have a little Prezi. Perry won the competition, the Christmas competition. He's getting a package from us, sent out to him in the post on Monday, and he should have it hopefully by the end of next week. He won the draw. Now guys, a couple of mentions before I go on to sort of other bits and bobbies. I'd like to have a chat with you about my YouTube channel. I'm trying to promote my YouTube channel. It's slow. It's slow going. The reason I'm trying to promote it is I want to do. I'd like to do live videos on YouTube. YouTube will not let me do live videos until I pass 1,000 subscribers. I'm only at about 350 or whatever it is at the minute. So guys, I need to get this over 1,000 people at a minimum. So I would really appreciate it if those of you who haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you go on there and subscribe to it and click a lot and like it and do all the other bells and whistles that whatever the heck you're supposed to do on YouTube. Click on the bell or something like that. I don't ring my bell. The whole of the Goose Wing sidecar build from start to finish is now on there. Every single video from the very start up until it's where it's at this moment in time. and which sort of so brings me nicely to my next subject is the Goose wheel. A lot of you saw, the last time you saw of that was when it was on the side of the road after its second test. I've had it running since. The issue where I'm at with it at the moment, because of the fact that this thing has never been, how would I describe it? It's not a normal vehicle, for want of a better word. There's been several teething issues with it. One of the biggest teething issues is the steering. I put a steering rack, the first set of steering didn't work at all because the ground up was just too low. The current setup works fine, except for the fact that there are too many turns of the wheel from lock to lock of the bike wheel. The issue that arises is if you have to make quick adjustments on your steering, you're having to do 3 turns of the steering just to keep yourself going straight down the road. So I'm going straight down the road and my hand is frantically going left and going right, turning the steering, keeping it going straight down the road, which isn't safe. Now, I have been told that I know that there's several other car steering racks with different ratios, and my next one apparently is a Ford Escort one, which has about 2.5 turns from lock to lock, which sounds like it would properly do the job. So my next job now is to pick one of them up and put that steering rack into it. So that's going to be an evolving thing, and I'm hoping to have that up and running on the road, up and running in sort of 5 to 6 weeks' time before Paddy's Day. The other issue with it at the moment is anytime I mention it to an insurance company, they start laughing at me and point blank refuse to insure it. No, I have no idea why. But this is Ireland. Unless it's conventional here, nobody wants to know. If I was in the UK, I'd have no problem insuring it, but they will not insure it in Ireland. At this present moment in time, no, I'll keep trying, but we'll see how we go. So, if you see me driving on the road, guys, you know I got insurance.
Dan's recommendation is just to use the handbrake.
So, that's where we stand at the moment. The other things I want to mention to you are my shop is up and running. My hoodies and t-shirts and all this sort of stuff is up and running there's a button on both my Instagram page and my Facebook page. If you go into my page, directly below the header is a button where you can go into my shop. I would really appreciate the support because it helps keep the show going, and keeps everything kind of ticking over. So I'm hoping to grow that as time goes on. But other than that, guys, I think, is there anything else on that list that I need to talk about, Jen?
Kells.
CB bricks.
Yeah, I've done that.
Kells.
Oh yeah, Kells.
Yeah, right, guys, keep an eye on my page over the next couple of days. The guys who run the Kells Road Races are doing a bike run on the 20th of March. Now, I'm only doing this off the top of my head now because I was talking to one of the guys this morning and I should have brought the bloody laptop with me and completely forgot it. However, I'll be putting up a post later on with regards to this. So, the 20th of March, the guys who run Kells Road Races are doing a bike run. Now, they're trying to make this the biggest bike gathering in Ireland. They want to try and do a record-breaking gathering of people. It's going to be in Kells, in County Meath, on the 20th of March, which is on a Sunday. Hopefully the sun and all that will shine. I definitely recommend guys go to this. You'll have a good day out. The money it's 10 quid a bike, but it's well worth the money because this goes to fund road racing. It's not a frivolous thing. Road racing is expensive, insurance is expensive, and everything else. It costs money to keep these things going, and there's great entertainment in it, and it keeps a lot of lads in motorsports. So the 20th of March, in Kells Road Races are doing a bike run. Guys, please go. I will put up a proper post with regards to this a couple of times between now and then and keep you well informed of what's going on. But I highly recommend that you get involved in this. Okay? That's that bit.
That's it.
Are we nearly done? We are. Have we any comments on there before I tell everyone to
Marcio says Escort racks have many ratios available because of the Valley Boys.
Yes, well,
So they'll go from the quick racks all the way up to stock.
Well, the one I'm looking at, Mark, is Quick Rack. There's actually a buddy of mine has a Mark II Scott rally car, and the rack is no good to him for his job anymore. But for what I wanted, it should do the job fine. And he reckons it's 2.5. I think he said it was 2.5 tons, or 2.5 tons, or 2.5 is 2.5 from lock to lock. So who's the smart arse? I was going to say 2 years sniggering behind me.
We're laughing at you with 2.5 is 2.5. Like,
it is, isn't it?
Jesus. You just figured that out.
Oh, Christ, I'm with
Sorry.
uniform today, aren't
Sorry.
you?
Shaggy suggested a Beetle steering box might do you if the Escort one doesn't.
Well, it's as long as it's basically as long as it fits. I think it's going to be a case of with this job. It might be a case of experimenting with 2 or 3 different racks until such time as I find the one that will actually do the job. Because the biggest problem with this lot is it has to fit through a. I have a hole basically in the floor of the sidecar where the steering stem comes down for the steering wheel, and as long as I can get it to fit into that hole, I can actually move the rack in or out or forwards or sideways or whatever the case may be to sort of move that. But the only constant thing in all of this is the actual hole in the floor that the main knuckle for the rack has to come up through. So I'll get there with it eventually, but it may take a couple of racks to actually get there. But in the meantime, there'll be plenty of other jobs. I got a message sort of during the week from another guy. Is there any other projects sort of in the pipeline? There are several. I have way more projects than I've got time or money. That's what I have. I'm hoping sort of in the near future, possibly, maybe, if I might sell something. But I'll sort of cross that bridge when I come to it. I'm not a fan of selling stuff. But if I have to, I will. To fund the whole sort of shit show that I've got. It's not fortunately enough. I'm actually looking at a lot of the stuff that I've got here. I scrounge it, or I repurpose it, or most of the bikes I've got are complete and are fucking basket cases. They're literally wrecks. So I build them from wrecks. So for the most part, I got them from wrecks that nobody wanted. So after that, then it's just a matter of elbow grease and plenty of work.
I'm so cold, Mick. You gotta hurry up.
You don't hear that in the fucking BBC, do you?
It's so cold, though.
Jesus Christ, almighty.
And I'm hungry, and like Dan and Perry and Mark have been talking about what they're having for dinner.
I like that. Isn't this great? We go on the show.
Shaggy recommends you sell the kids.
I'm taking my fucking sell Jen. Jesus Christ. Fix the camera in the corner and just waffle on and sell Jen.
No.
Things are bad when the camera woman is moaning behind the phone. Anyway, guys, she's right because we have to go because, like I said, I'm back to waffling again now. So I've given you pretty much a roundup on everything that we're doing. I will be putting up regular stuff. Guys, the sort of the.
Oh yeah, the pubs are open as well. So,
and the pubs are open, yeah.
So we don't want to be keeping people from the pubs.
That's true too. Guys, the one thing I would ask you though is if you happen to find yourself on YouTube, jump over to my page, Goose Customs Ireland, and give me a like, and pass on to your friends. And
did you put up a thing saying that like your garage is warm? Because Dan said I just fecked your warm garage story.
My garage,
like he has a heater in here somewhere.
There.
Yeah, it's not on.
Well, why would it be on? It's not that cold.
Oh, fair enough.
These women are always cold. You don't notice that. You do Poland how cold women are. The answer would be always.
Well, Andy's got my back. She says that you can't sell me because I'm funny. I'd like to think I bring more to the table than funny, but
I'm wondering, Andy, is that funny ha-ha or funny peculiar?
Food and both.
Guys, it's been nice to talk to you. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'm fecking off now for my dinner, and the fact that Jen is moaning because she's cold. Listen, as soon as I'm planning on doing more of these because I do like them, and so I will be in touch with you. I would imagine we'll probably end up doing one of these every 3 or 4 weeks, just to sort of come on and annoy you that bit more. Because I know you're getting sick of looking at me as it is. So we'll see how we go. Guys, listen, thanks very much for tuning in, or looking in, or whatever the hell the in is. And we'll talk to you real soon, okay? See you later, guys. Bye-bye.